Alrighty, good afternoon and welcome to the Big Biz Show. I'm Brent Wilsey with Chase Wilsey filling in for Sully, who is on, I guess he's on vacation this week and next week. And we're here to do the whole show for you until 3 o'clock today right here in San Diego. Also, today is a special treat. We are also on Facebook Live through our Facebook. I think we're using our regular Facebook, Brent Wilsey. That's what we're using on that one. But so our Facebook viewers can see it. Also, people can hear it on radio. It's 1700 AM ESPN. But we got a lot of good things to talk about today. People make them smarter investors, and we do have to talk about today. And I wish Sully was here; he would love this. But today, not to say anything bad about him, but to say that today is Weed Day, Marijuana Day, April 20th. I didn't know that until I saw it this morning.
Yeah, I believe it has something to do with Bob Marley. I believe that's what the 420 comes from.
What are you talking about?
Bob Marley.
Who's Bob Marley?
You don't know Bob Marley?
Don't know Bob Marley.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, I believe that's where 420 came from. Not too sure on the exact date. Just kind of throwing out a guess there. But
alrighty.
Yeah. So Weed Day 420. That's where we're at.
Well, we're going to talk about weed and also too bear sales with weed. Well, it's hard to get out there. I'll talk about that. Also too Verizon earnings came out today and weren't too good. We're going to talk about that and what's going on behind the scenes. And I think about 6 months, 12 months ago, we talked about problems for Verizon coming up because of competition, and they did something good for one of our companies, but they seem to be having some problems there.
Absolutely, and it's always so important to understand the fundamentals of the companies that you own, kind of take a glimpse at the potential problems that could occur, and we've kind of been seeing this with Verizon for the past several years, and people, have done extremely well in the stock, and we've said, I'm still not comfortable with it.
Nope. And we're going to talk more about that and what's going on there. Also, too, we tried to bring one thing in for you about millennials, and actually, there's some big mistakes that millennial parents are making, not realizing what's going on. We're going to talk about that, help you out, and you don't have to worry about that yet because you're not close to being a parent.
Not that you know of. No, actually.
I almost said that too. I thought, no, I'm going to go there, but I'll let you say that. Hopefully not that you know of either. Also, too, and we talked about this yesterday. We never got to it. I do want to talk about, explain more about the savings and loan crisis because of the fact it's something that people forgot about. But when you went through it, it was pretty devastating. And it just kind of shows the strength of the United States and how we can get through things and not to worry about some of the little things that people worry about and the markets go down, they panic. You shouldn't worry about things like that. So we'll talk more about that throughout the show also. And then I do, if we get time allowing here, the iPhone 7 Plus. And a survey says it's still more powerful than Samsung's Galaxy S8. And this was according to one set of tests, and I want to kind of discuss that a little bit. And I know there's more iPhone holders than Samsung, but boy, some of those Samsung people that have that phone, they just love them. and actually looking at Bree's doing our filming for the Facebook, and she's got her Samsung phone over there. So, but yeah, if you're a Samsung holder, I mean, you like it. They do have some good things, but we'll talk more about that as well. And then also, too, I want to discuss this if we get time. I mean, it just goes by so quick, but major changes coming to how your credit score is calculated. And that was kind of surprising. First change in many, many years can kind of throw people off.
And credit scores are very interesting, and kind of jumping ahead here a little bit, but there's 3 different credit scores that may be used by 3 different types of companies. So important you have good credit habits because borrowing is so important in your financial life.
It's not important until you need to borrow, I mean, people are like, oh, I'm not going to worry about that. And then they go to the bank to get a car. What? I got a credit score of 400? You won't loan me money? What's up with that?
Yeah, I can't lease the car? What do you mean? Yeah.
So we'll talk more about that. So a lot of things here to talk about on the Big Biz Show. Again, Brent and Chase Wilsey from Wilsey Asset Management. You want to find out more about us, go to our website, smartinvesting2000.com. Again, that's smartinvesting2000.com. A lot of great information there. We'll be right back after this quick break. Alrighty, so actually people on Facebook, we're live right on Facebook. Okay, so any questions they have, they can actually submit them through Facebook. We can discuss them on air because Bria's here. She can kind of write them down. And did you bring pad and paper? You can say yes or no, even though they can't see you. They know you're behind the camera over there. So I do have a pen for you. Do you have a pad for it, Chase?
Actually, I do.
Oh, good. All right, so.
Yeah.
Come over here and get it. You can kind of say hello to the audience there. That's what I know. That's so, all right. You know how to use it? All right. So, yeah. So any questions you have, feel free to submit them, and we'll write them down, kind of pass them over to us. We'll discuss them for you. And this is about a 1 minute break, so we can go back to the show pretty quickly here. What's that? Come around and say hello to him. Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Biz Show. I'm Brent Wilsey with Chase Wilsey, filling in for Sully, who's on a vacation this week and next week. Again, always love the music. We've been doing this show now, filling in for Sully, 3 days. Every single song I like. Can't remember half of them, can't pronounce half of them, or remember what they are, but like them. I think that was She's a Brick House, and I don't know who was the artist. Facebook people can't hear it, but they do some great music here on 1700 AM.
They got to tune into the radio.
That's right. They can tune the radio, listen, and watch at the same time. So, all right, well, we talked about, before on a break, things we're talking about today are going to include marijuana. Today is Weed Day. Going to talk about that a little bit. I was going to talk about Verizon earnings. We're going to discuss millennials, parents who are making some big mistakes in their financial planning. Talk about that. So if you're a millennial with children, you don't want to make those mistakes. But let's talk about Weed Day today. Again, April 20th. And who again was the guy that's famous for something you said? I know you closed your eyes like Brent. You're supposed to know.
I looked it up over break, and there's no correlation to it. So
good.
I don't know why it's called Weed Day. And there's a bunch of I just saw an article. There's a bunch of different rumors as to why it's called Weed Day, but who knows?
Yeah,
maybe someone was high when they created it, so you never know.
Maybe when it's just like somebody said, "Hey, dude, let's make April 20th Weed Day." All right, and it stuck. I don't know, but it is today. But what people get excited about on our side is, I want to buy the weed stocks, I want to buy marijuana stocks, and so forth. We said, don't do it because there's a lot of risk to them. But the marijuana plant right now in the United States it's currently growing. Fastest growing, very fast growing industry, growing about 30% at a compounded rate. And that's why people want to invest in marijuana, because I'm going to make big money here. We have talked about problems with that as far as it just being for the state, federal government also not going along with it yet, where they could come in and block it. The risk of the company. What other things?
I mean, the biggest concern here is how these companies are actually filed. They don't trade on the New York Stock Exchange. I mean, they're not national companies because it's not legal in every state.
That's right.
So what this means is it trades on the over-the-counter market, also known as the OTC market, as an abbreviation. And one company called MedBox actually settled with the SEC for securities fraud. Not surprised, because these companies aren't heavily regulated. There's a lot less that goes into it than those companies that trade on the New York Stock Exchange. Also, a lot less liquidity when it comes to trading these stocks. So big concerns with buying direct marijuana stocks.
Yep. And what you can do is you can look at also to the management team. How solid is the management team behind them? I mean, kind of funny. I mean, you don't want some company where they go in the board meeting and everybody's high after smoking. Don't want to go with that company. You want a real business running that business.
And another thing talking about that real business is, I mean, how can you trust those numbers is one of our biggest concerns when investing in this company. I mean, it's an all-cash business most of the time. I mean, I don't know if dispensaries take credit cards. I mean, I'm not familiar with the business.
I don't think they do yet, because I think that'd be a national thing. So I don't think they do. Maybe on Facebook we have somebody that says, yes, I went to this dispensary and they used my credit card. So we'll see on that if somebody responds to that. But there is a way to invest if you want to kind of get into that without maybe going too far into it. It kind of reminds me of back in the internet days. They said don't buy the actual companies, buy the pick and shovels. Kind of like in gold. You don't want to buy the gold, you buy the pick and shovels to dig the gold. What they're kind of saying you can maybe do is get the companies around it that maybe provide the software for servicing the cannabis business. And there was one that they mentioned was Flow Hub, which was one. It's a public company. Also, two, you can do distribution companies, advertising companies, marketing companies, and these would include companies like Tradiv. What is it? I can't even pronounce that name. Tradiv. Sounds like a Israel name almost there, and different companies like that. So you're not.
Well, here's my other area. I was talking about, it's a cash business. They have a payment solutions company called Token, and also agricultural tech called Grownetics.
Yeah, I love these names.
I know. I've never heard of any of them, which is kind of a concern. So we definitely want to take a look at some of these names. But, always important to look at kind of different thought processes, when it comes to investing. Because, again, investing in marijuana directly is such a big risk.
Yep.
Maybe this is a safer route to explore.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that company, Token, which is a payment solutions. And the reason why this could be beneficial is that if marijuana does do well, stays legal, and everything goes fine, the revenue for this company is going to skyrocket. But if for some reason it doesn't come through, well, they have another business. They actually do take, some type of other payment solutions, and who knows what it is, but they have other things that actually work so that you wouldn't lose all your money in that investment.
Yeah, you never want to put all your eggs in one basket. And a lot of people, they're scared to invest in individual equities for that reason. Right. But, you were on CNBC last week talking about space. Mm-hmm. And, one of the companies we came across was United Technologies. Mm-hmm. A lot of people probably don't know they make spacesuits.
Yeah. They
make space parts. But they also make air conditioners.
Elevators.
Yes. So it's diversified as a company as a whole. So let's say for some reason, no one's going to space anymore, something happened out there. Technology has other businesses that will succeed. I had a lady call in and say, I think robots are going to be, the next big thing that I should be investing in. Do you know of any companies that I can invest in? I said, it's a pretty big risk there. Mm-hmm. But, maybe think of some companies that would benefit from robots kind of starting to be a more commonplace in our lives. Right. So that would include chip makers, because that's how you power the robots. So you got to kind of think about different ideas that can really be beneficial from your idea of something becoming more popular.
And your return won't be quite as high, but your risk is not quite as high either. And I did like when you said too, I don't know if this makes sense or not, but I'll put it out there. You talk about not all your eggs in one basket. It would be the same thing. It's not all your joints in one ashtray. Would that be the same thing?
Maybe, yeah.
I just thought, okay, I know it was a very good one, but I just thought it'd be something different. So, but also too, what they're saying too is that this could have problems for beer companies. Actually, Molson Coors, symbol TAP, T-A-P, Cohen and Company came out today and lowered the rating on Molson Coors, saying that they believe that marijuana sales increasing is going to decrease beer sales going forward. And what they're looking at, there's a change here of what people are doing, I guess, on how to get high. Yeah,
I mean, I guess it's an interesting study. I guess I have thought about this in the past, but the correlation between if you drink more, you're going to smoke less, or if you smoke more, you're going to drink less. And it appears there's some hard data that shows there is a negative correlation between the two. So they don't move in the same direction. It's like, people are starting to smoke more, so they're going to drink more.
Yeah.
No, they actually move in opposite paths. And seeing more states pass the legality of marijuana could be a troublesome path for these alcohol companies.
And I don't participate in either, but maybe somebody can tell us, or you can tell us, do you drink beer and smoke pot at the same time? Maybe you don't want to answer that question.
I don't smoke pot, but I do like to enjoy a nice Coors Light.
And this also brings to my attention, too, or my thought, all these microbreweries that are coming out. Are they just a flash in the pan because of the fact that, 10 years from now they'll be gone? Because actually, they went back to the 80s, 1980 and 1990. Alcohol consumption fell 22%, while marijuana sales actually increased 18%. So you have this changing here, and the microbreweries might just be a 10-year thing, and then they're not doing as well because more people are smoking marijuana. It's more legal now, easier to get. It was, I guess it's been around for 35 years or so, longer than that, but really, but.
And the big concern here is we've taken a look at these beer companies, these alcohol companies in the past, and their valuations.
You've even tested some of them, haven't you?
Oh, I have. Their products are pretty good. But the problem here is valuations on these alcohol companies are pretty high.
Yep.
And what happens is, as we said, let's say marijuana starts to pass in more and more states, sales start to decline, that valuation is going to be really hurt, because if earnings fall, people are going to say, I don't want to pay 35 times anymore for earnings on this company. So then the multiple falls and the earnings fall. That really sends the stock price down quite rapidly. So be careful. And another thing to point out is when Constellation Brands purchased Ballast Point for $1 billion, so that company's not worth $1 billion. Years down the road, that's a huge write-down that they have to take.
Yep.
So
hurting those earnings.
Hopefully this marijuana fad doesn't hurt these alcohol companies.
Yeah, and I don't think marijuana is going to be a fad. I think it is going to be around. Kind of when you look at the way things are changing, is that alcohol, since Prohibition in the 1920s, really kind of grew quite a bit. And now marijuana seems to be taking off. So I think what's going to happen, again, alcohol is not going to go away, but I think the consumption will decline. And that's going to hurt not just beer sales, but probably wine sales, probably spirits, I guess they're called, and so forth. It's going to hurt them because more people are like, yeah. I mean, and when I was younger, oh my gosh, you smoke marijuana? Oh, you're a hippie. You're crazy, you know.
Yeah.
Now we're like, okay, yeah, he does it. And, you know, Bree does it. Oh, sorry.
No way.
Just kidding. But it's going to be more acceptable, is what I'm saying. It's not like the big taboo it was back 25 years ago. So.
This is Bob Marley right here.
Oh. All righty. Well, thank you. All right. You are tuned into the Big Biz Show with Brent Wilsey and Chase Wilsey, filling for Soleil. We'll be right back with more things to talk about, like millennials. Maybe you're not doing things right when it comes to spending your money. Stay with us. We'll be back.